Good afternoon. My name is Vicki Cove. I'm the Executive Director with the Good Shepherd Alliance, and I'm here to talk to you about HUD regulations, changes that we could make to the HUD regulations with some national attention in order to better serve our homeless and near homeless population for long-term success. If you look at statistics, not just in our local community and in our state, but nationally, you see how folks are just returning to that state after a period of time, and a lot of that is due to the fact that we are not equipping them with the tools they need when those issues arise again and they are faced with the same barriers. At this current time, and it's been changing over the last, say, 7 years, the HUD regulations are very restrictive as to what federal and state funds can be used for. The guidelines have focused in on housing first, which has been very successful in specific communities according to those communities. The problem is that you cannot take a family, an individual, and just put them in a box. Everyone's barriers are not the same. When you meet with a family and you learn what brought them to their crisis, whether it was a severe medical problem, sometimes it's a divorce and you got a single mom who hasn't worked in 20 years and she's got to get back into the workforce. There are domestic violence. Sometimes it is addiction, and people have to work on getting out of that, especially when there's children. When there are children, you're looking at a whole nother generation that's going to come up into that pattern if we can't break that cycle. When we just put them in housing and there are so many other things to address, you are most likely going to see them again. With the HUD guidelines currently, they specifically say you must provide housing on a first-come, first-served basis with no requirements at all. Now, this means that if you have an individual who is actively using, say, drugs, alcohol, you cannot require them to be sober or get in a program so you can help them to recover. It means that if you have someone with a severe medical issue or mental health issue that you're not qualified to handle, if you're operating the shelter, you still have to take them in. Now, for us, in that case, we would refer them somewhere else because it's not good for them, it's not good for us. The problem is, when we, Good Shepherd Alliance, when we meet someone who has a shelter need, we go through with them what our 6-step program is, which is an intensive case management program. We look at all their barriers, like spokes on a wheel, let's say. If you have broken spokes, eventually your wheel's going to break. We look at which ones are broken. You need affordable childcare. You need to increase your income. You need to, obviously, you need to look for affordable housing. Perhaps you're having trouble with parenting skills. Maybe your stress management, you're just so stressed you just can't handle, how do I work through these 6 different areas that are out of control in my life? Maybe you don't have transportation. We require them to work on those things. We'll tell them, if you just want shelter, there's a lot of places that do that. But if you want to work toward being successful and knowing what to do if this happens again, ever, we're the place for you. You want to work on your barriers, come here. Now, our program, in the last 11 years, our success rate has been between 70 and 94%. Now, I'm telling you all of that just to say there are many programs out there, private nonprofits, that are being very successful at helping individuals and families who are homeless or facing homelessness to be successful in getting back out there, being a contributing member of society, paying taxes, and giving back. And their children are so much better off. And yet, the program that our government is running, and I see it in not just in counties, but I've been to participating with our state in the state meetings and seen the success rates, our county, the success rate was 50%. And that was combined with our success rate, which at that year, our success rate was 80%. So you can see how the county program was working compared to ours. Now, it only makes sense that if we could bring to the attention of the federal or the United States Housing and Urban Development, which is now under Ben Carson, if we could bring to their attention that there are a variety of programs that are very successful, that they really should take a look at them. With the federal guidelines stating you cannot require anything, they're not allowing any other nonprofit to benefit from any available funding to help the homeless and near homeless, which is really nonsensical. Now, what I want to do is I want to start a national campaign, and I want to send out an appeal across the nation to what would be Good Shepherd's target audience. And it will take some funding out of our budget, which I need board approval, to request them to contact their representatives and give them this information, which of course we would provide to them, so that we could get a bigger audience contacting HUD. We have made great efforts. I have made great efforts to contact HUD, our congressman, and it kind of goes around and around. We've even sent a letter to the White House. You get back to HUD, they send you to the Department of Housing and Community Development for Virginia. They send you to the district office. I talk to the district office, and then they say, why don't you go to your congressman? And we're back to the beginning. And I tell them, I've been the roundabout, and here we are. Nobody cares. These people are not eyesores. We're not just because we're afraid to play in the park, or we don't like seeing people when we walk down the street. They're people. They have the same potential as any of us, and any of us could be struck with a life-threatening illness, cancer. You're going through chemo, you can't work, you don't have family to take you in, you get evicted. What are you going to do? There are a lot of people like that, and it could be us. People aren't eyesores. That's not why we solve homelessness. So, that's my pitch. Let's see what we can do.